Conservative Cat Cities 92.9. Hey, so do appreciate you tuning in today. We are going to get to all kinds of things. We have an on the ground reporter, Robert Reich. You might remember him from News Radio Pensacola. He's going to be giving us some coverage there at the RNC. We are also going to talk about Adam Kininger. He is taking to the keyboard like the keyboard warrior he is, and he's big mad about Nikki Haley endorsing President Donald Trump. So, without further ado, Robert Reese, welcome to the program. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Great to be here with you guys.
Where are you? You're at the ball field.
Yeah, so I'm actually at America Family Field, I think is what it's called. This is where the Milwaukee Brewers play. So there was an event today here. It's called the Southern States Fest is what it is. So it's pretty much all the southern states are here, and we just had Governor DeSantis speak, Sarah Huckabee Sanders speak, the Oklahoma governor speak, the Georgia governor Brian Kemp spoke. It's just a bunch of governors spoke, and then we had Lee Greenwood play some music, and now we've got Randy Houser that's behind me. He's playing right now, entertaining the crowd.
Wow. Incredible. So did you have some breakfast with Ron DeSantis this morning?
I did, yeah. So I'm in Pensacola, Florida now. So with Pensacola, we're in Florida. So we went to the Florida Republican Party's breakfast, and Governor DeSantis was addressing the crowd there this morning. And so we were able to go there and hang out with the other Republicans from the state of Florida, but also, of course, hear him speak and hang out with him and have some good breakfast. Had some Dutch babies and some other biscuits and gravy and things like that. So
yeah, well, and I gotta ask, did you see the Donald Trump cheese art that was there? Somebody made a Donald Trump. Did you see it?
Yeah. I mean, just think of it. Hey, in Iowa and stuff, they have like the butter cow. They get the butter cows in Illinois and Iowa and stuff. It's like that, just made out of cheese. So
yeah. I'm gonna have to pull that up for our streamers here. They're gonna get a kick out of this. I'm gonna pull this up really quick, and then we're gonna get to Adam Kininger, because that's another thing that's been going around Twitter as who's not there. Okay, we're talking about everybody. Yeah. There it is. I just absolutely love it. Who made that? And it's amazing because there's Illinois right there, and
that's right.
RNC 2024. So somebody made this at the breakfast this morning, at the Illinois delegation breakfast. So I thought that was incredible. It's like, what? Okay, Adam Kininger, people who aren't there, and when did Nikki officially make her endorsement of Donald Trump? Was that today, yesterday?
It was yesterday, yeah. So she came and spoke to the crowd, and it was actually kind of interesting because she actually had initially a very strong applause for her. But given about, 5 seconds into it, all of a sudden you started hearing a bunch of boos along with the cheers. It just kind of mixed in between boos and cheering. But then after everybody kind of settled down, she went into her speech a little bit and then said, "Look, I want to be perfectly clear. Donald J. Trump has my full endorsement, my full support." And at that point, of course, the crowd goes wild. So it happened yesterday. She was about the middle of the crowd of speakers at that point. But overall, she probably had to be honest, she still probably had one of the, if not the biggest applause of anybody that spoke yesterday, including Ron DeSantis. I think Ron DeSantis had a little bit bigger of applause than what she had by the end, but she was right there, 2 or 3 top applauses.
Nice. Well, and who's not there? George Bush. Did you see Adam? I know how much you love Adam Kingston.
Look, Adam and I used to be pretty good friends. I don't know what's happened to Adam, but so
it's disappointing. I talked to an Illinois senator, Andrew Chesney. He was there this morning, and I spoke with him this morning, and he said, it's just a money thing. He left the Republican Party to make money. He makes money off rhetoric, and that's just the way it goes. Speaking about rhetoric, there's been calls to lower the temperature, tone down rhetoric. I want to talk about security. So what's it like at the RNC as far as security?
So first day I got here Sunday, I was here within 15 minutes of getting my credentials, and I saw a bicycle crowd, like bicycle cops, like 20 of them, right past me. And I was like, whoa, that's like a show of force right there. Within 15 minutes, I pull away, leave. I see another 20 cops coming on bicycles. And I was like, oh, I guess they're just doing the rounds. And then as they got closer, I realized they had different uniforms. And I'm like, that's a whole different group of 20 cops. So there is a show of presence going on here. The first, so Monday was the first day of the actual convention, though, and it took me 2.5 hours to get through the vehicle perimeter. Then you have an actual pedestrian perimeter you got to get through after that. It was a nightmare to get into the whole thing. After that, Secret Service has done a little bit better job of streamlining stuff, and it hasn't been nearly as bad to get in there. But there's cops all over the place, Secret Service all over the place, National Guard. I ended up driving by I went to the Harley Museum. There's a Harley Museum here. So I went to go check that out. And I'm passing it, and in order to pass it, you go by a power plant. And there's like 2 or 3 Humvees like in the lawn, and they've got National Guard soldiers in the Humvees. There's like soldiers in the driveway, like holding their guns out, like their rifles out. Then across the street, there's people. We drive across a couple bridges. These bridges aren't even like really that close to where the RNC is being held, but they've closed the bridge and they've got National Guard guarding the bridge. We drove over. There's a river going through the Milwaukee River, goes right through downtown Milwaukee. And I would say every 50 feet, it's super close. Every 50 feet, there's police boats roaming the river back and forth. I mean, there's a security all over the place. As you know, yesterday there was some homeless people who were shot and killed. They were getting in a knife fight. Then there was a guy who was coming in a ski mask right outside of Fiserv Arena. He had a ski mask, he had tactical gear, and then he just was acting shady. So they went in and talked to him, and it turns out he had like an AK-47 or something in his backpack or something like that. And so there's tons of security here. I had a lot of family and stuff going, please be safe, please be safe. And I'm like, you can't be in a safer place than a week after, not even a full week after the Secret Service had one of the biggest botches they've ever had in their life, and they have to try to prove that they're not incompetent. So this is the best place to be. Yeah, so it's overkill, yeah.
They're overkilling and overcompensating, right?
Yep, they have to, though. They have to prove that they can do the job now.
Exactly. And I don't know, the Secret Service director, that's a whole nother can of worms. She
came
out
is.
And said with, this whole Iran business that they increased security actually because they received intel that Iran had plotted the assassination of Trump. They increased. And I was like, honey, if that's increased security, like I don't want to see what,
what the decrease is. Exactly.
What the decrease is, man. Okay. So another thing that you had mentioned to me are these gender neutral bathrooms. I've got to ask you about this. What are they at the RNC itself? Or?
So it's right next to Fiserv Arena, which is where the Milwaukee Bucks play their basketball games. Right next to that is this Bayard Center, which is their conference center for downtown. And there's a lot of things going on there. There's Convention Fest, and there's all these, like Heritage Foundation has the thing set up, and all these different vendors have things set up. So we go into the Bayard Center, and all the bathrooms there say gender neutral bathrooms or all genders included. And it has your typical female, photo, right, where she's wearing the dress, the typical male one. And then next to it, it has a split, like a gender that has half a dress and then half not a dress. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I had to go to the bathroom. So I got to go to the bathroom. So I walk in there, and I guess I was expecting to just be like a family bathroom where it's just one stall, and you just take turns having to go in. I walk in, there's 2 sinks right there, and it's a nice bathroom, but 2 sinks right there. And I was like, okay, where's the bathroom? And I start going down the stalls, and this lady comes out of one of the stalls. And it's like 6 stalls with closed doors, like your regular bathroom stall. But this lady comes out of one of them, and she just looked at me straight on. I looked at her, and I was like, and I guess she could see my face. She goes, "Yep, we're doing this now." And I was like, okay.
She probably had the same intention as you to just go into the bathroom because you had to go to the bathroom. There's no line.
Yeah, no line. Yep, no line. So we're gonna go in there, and next thing I was like, I had a first ever. I can honestly say I've never, ever, ever talked to a female in a public restroom before yesterday, and now I have.
Really? So. Wowza. I mean, I see them all over the place, but it's always you walk in, the toilet's right there, and then there's a urinal. Yeah. So there's a toilet and a urinal. And
exactly. Yeah. No, this is like a massive bathroom with lots of stalls. You're just going to share them. Men and women are going to share the stalls next to each other, and I just... and so it's kind of been the laugh around here.
Yeah, you're like, far from home. You're far from home.
Yeah, everybody around here is like taking pictures of it, like, oh my gosh, and did you go to the bathroom? And so it's like everybody around here is having a little bit of culture shock with it. It's kind of fun, but at the same time, kind of scary.
Not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
Not in Kansas, exactly.
Not in Kansas anymore, Robert. Not in Pensacola anymore. We're talking with Robert Reese. He's a reporter, News Radio. Check out News Radio Pensacola. I do want to talk about Code Pink. And you've had a run-in with Code Pink. Describe to me Code Pink. This is a left-wing feminist organization, correct?
Very much so, yep. Far left wing. Their big mantra they were trying to do today or yesterday was they were trying to just, because usually they take like one feminist type of issue, but yesterday it was all about like the Donald Trump's going to ruin the finances of the country. There's going to be, it just goes on and on and on with things like that. But it was actually, so Code Pink usually when they come out to events, there's 50 of them, 100 or more, hundreds. Here's this big, huge RNC thing. This is the biggest protest we've seen thus far, and it was about 5 people. And
wow. We're so like, counter protests aren't really like a big thing. It sounds like that homeless knife thing in the AK-47. They're not leftist, are they?
I think it's just a random thing. I think those are just those
crime.
Yep, exactly. Just chalk it up to Milwaukee crime, especially the homeless situation. But when it comes down to it, there was supposed to be a big, huge rally the very first day. 5,000 people. Marching the streets didn't happen. There was a handful of people on that as well. And we've been kind of talking about that. Like, why? Like, we were expecting massive protests. There's nothing. There's basically virtually no protests at all. No counter protests. And only thing I could think is maybe once again, because of what happened on Saturday, people don't want to be in a situation where the Secret Service may overreact to something and so they're just avoiding it. They're not here at all.
Yeah, they're being careful. Well, and Joy Reid, I don't know if you had seen what she said yesterday. She goes, my biggest fear is that the media will not criticize Donald Trump anymore because he's the biggest purveyor and promoter of political violence. And my fear is that the media. So now you're even seeing maybe a decrease in left-wing activity because the media has taken a back seat.
Definitely have. Now, I'll say this. I mean, if you've been watching any of the coverage, the theme is definitely twofold. It's one, unification. I mean, the types of speakers they're getting, things like that. But I can tell you from some of the state representatives I was talking to the first day, they were actually told by the party officials that because they started chanting fight, 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 which makes sense after Saturday, right? Trump holding up the fist, fight, fight, fight. And they were told by the party, please don't use that. Don't do that chant. They felt like it's they're wanting to unify and they want to sound like unifiers. And so apparently, and that's coming from Trump, he doesn't want to fight, fight, fight chant. They wants other chants. USA mostly is what they're encouraging him to just chant USA. So you're getting a lot of unification speeches, a lot of unification things. Nikki Haley was one of them that actually talked about, hey, we need to grow our party. Then you have people like Amber Rose speaking, and the Teamsters president, first time that in 121 years of their existence, they've spoken to the Republican National Convention. So there's a lot of unification efforts. But the second big theme is the humanity of Donald Trump, the kind things that he's done over his life, him being a grandfather, him being a father, him being helping people and the charitable acts and things like that. So those are the two main things that you're getting from the RNC thus far. And of course, tonight is the VP day, so we're going to have a lot of stuff. We're going to learn a lot about J.D. Vance, and he's going to culminate with the final speech tonight.
Well, and I wanted to ask you about J.D. Vance. Have you seen the Hillbilly LG?
I've not seen it. The Netflix show? No, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely wanting to watch it now.
It's a longer film, but man, I mean, I knew very little of J.D. Vance. I knew he was, Freedom Caucus type, MAGA definitely. Yep. I knew he didn't like Trump in 2016, but then you watch his, and you can relate to this being from Illinois or, living in Illinois. He really comes from a place where this Rust Belt was just gutted at a certain period in time, and people lost their jobs. And I mean, it's a truly heart-wrenching story, but I'm going to let you go, Robert Reese. Thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Sounds good. Anytime.
Well, you have a great rest of your day. News Radio reporter Robert Reese, and he's out. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. We've got so much more to cover tomorrow for The Daily Show. The Daily Show is 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., and you can always find me on YouTube and subscribe. and we'll do it all over again tomorrow. Bye-bye.